Hi, Dr. Chris here with another video for you. Today we're really going to talk about the topic of sleep and the 4 hacks to getting a better night's sleep. And this really is important because it was actually one of the number one viewed videos on my blog of 2020. So we're going to touch on that. But first, let's just understand a little bit about sleep. Sleep is probably one of the best cures for our body, both mentally and physically. When I tell clients, make sure you get a good night rest after treatment, the body allows, it's at a point where we can finally just do nothing, right? We're not busy watching TV, busy doing something. Our body's quiet, and it allows the body to actually, instead of, using your brain, your mind, and your body to do something, it's time to heal. It's also an opportunity to, set your, cure a mental roadblock or, clear just mental fatigue, right? It allows the body just to quiet down and cause some quietness. I can't remember, the countless times in university where, personally, for me, I would study and stay up, stay up late studying and always make sure I got a good night's sleep. Why? Because I always woke up, fresh, feeling refreshed. Whereas I had other friends that their thought was to, cram and study all night and pull an all-nighter. And, for me, getting that 6 to 8 hours sleep was really important uh, and I noticed a, improvement as far as like when I've done both, as far as like the cramming versus the getting the sleep. Most people fail to really understand that sleep is actually a tool to clear the brain's short-term memory. So when you're kind of cramming, you can only get so much into that brain. And so what happens is that at some point you get mental fatigue and we're kind of keep pushing and pushing and nothing else is getting in there. Whereas sleep actually moves that into a long-term memory bank. And actually there was a study that proved that UC Berkeley in 2007 proved or had a study that showed that um, fact-based or temporary things were stored in the hippocampus before it was sent down into the prefrontal cortex, a place for storage with sleep. So it's kind of like, you know, the short-term memory or cramming for something. It's like trying to have a party and wanting to clean at the same time. You can't do both. So really, the time to sleep is like the time you're cleaning, right? It's just an opportunity for you to do the cleaning. All right, next, let's move on to like understanding sleep as well. Like there are different wavelengths with sleep, and more importantly, there's different stages of sleep that people probably have heard of. There's actually 5 stages of sleep. Stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 is REM sleep, what most people heard of, rapid eye movement, and each of these cycle usually, or the sleep cycle is usually 90 minutes, around 90 minutes. We'll come back to that. Let me just kind of explain the different stages. So stage 1 is kind of that light stage where you're trying to drifting in and out of sleep. It's kind of that stage where you're almost like daydreaming, and if you wake up, people will say, "Well, I wasn't even sleeping." The second stage lasts about 20 minutes, and these are like short periods of rapid, rhythmic brain waves. So there's your body changes. That sometimes you feel you kind of shake and you kind of get into that moment. Your heart starts to drop. You're really starting to relax. Deep sleep, your body really starts to slow. The brain waves slow. Um, this is a lighter, between a lighter and a very deep state. So it's kind of in that mid-level sleep. Stage 4 is delta waves exclusively, and this sleep lasts about 30 minutes. This is where you would also could see bedwetting, sleepwalking happens, and then stage 4. And then stage 5, which most people heard of, is REM sleep, rapid eye movement. And this is where most dreams occur. And during this stage is you're getting a lot of increased brain activity. That's where you're getting the dreams. It's almost feeling like you're in this like a real-time state and things appeal real because it's almost in like a waking kind of state. What's important to know is the cycles. So it doesn't go into like stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. it actually goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you actually go back down 3, 2 before you get into that deep REM state. And after that REM state, you go down to back to 2, 3, and that continues. And that's important just to realize as we get into the 90 minutes, it's really important to complete that cycle of sleep cycle to feel fully rested, fully complete. And if you wake up in the middle, you often feel groggy, cranky. It's almost sometimes an awful experience, right? And we'll get into that as one of our hacks, okay? All right, so the 4 hacks to getting a better sleep. Obviously, number 1 hack would be to eliminate all your electronic devices before bed. One of the common ones is watch TV before bed, and a lot of people watch the news before bed. An absolute must not, zero. Why? Especially nowadays, there's nothing good on the news. It creates more, stress and anxiety and worry in the body. And so I would say eliminate TV. The other thing is obviously our cell phone. We quickly, going to check our Facebook or Instagram right before bed. And just so we know that even research has shown 10 minutes of a smartphone in front of your nose before bed is equivalent of taking a 1 hour long hike or walk in the middle of the day. Right in the middle of daytime, all this light. So if you went for an hour long hike or an hour long walk in this beautiful daylight, do you think you could fall asleep right after coming home? Absolutely not. So just let's think about that. For 10 minutes using the cell phone, it's going to create this impression. So it's going to make it more difficult to get to sleep. So some people that want to wake up in the middle of the night and they're going to be like, I'm just going to check Facebook quickly, obviously are going to have a harder time getting or falling back to sleep. Number 2 hack would be to remember back to the 90-minute rule. So when you sleep, your brain cycle goes through the different stages, as I mentioned, and each lasting 90 minutes. So it's best to, if you want to count back to when you're going to get up, 90 minutes, so 90-minute cycles, to really when you should actually start your bedtime. So when you wake up, you're waking up in that cycle of 90 minutes, right? So if you were to, wake up every morning at 8 o'clock, you want to go back 90 minutes to find a bedtime that's in around that 8 o'clock time, whether it's, 6 to 8 hours in that time frame within that cycle of 90 minutes. That way you're going to wake up in a very more relaxed, calm, refreshed state rather than waking up in the middle of a stage and not feeling that the sleep has been interrupted and obviously lead to a tough day. There's a lot of apps. There's lots of different sleeping apps that may help direct you to with this the 90-minute sleep cycles. Hack number 4, keeping your room dark. So it's really important that you keep your room very dark and with not a lot of light. So any kind of light from maybe street lights, light from our room or some other kind of night light affects our sleep. Melatonin is actually, the light inhibits the melatonin. So those that maybe are shift work, it's good to maybe wear like a blindfold or a blackout face masks to black out that light to help the body to fix the body or to kind of trick the body to release that melatonin that is critical for our sleep. Hack number 4 would be to listen to calming, relaxing music or meditation before bed. Those types of things help us calm and relax, and that'll help us find into that dreamlike state. Your body, as I said in our first sleep video, would really is you can only have one thought, and so if you focus on one aspect, it'll kind of keep you from drifting off into worrying about something else. And our last one, which is a bonus hack, is really just kind of creating a sleep routine. Really important. Your body loves routine. Even we talk about digestion, your body, it gets ready for a meal. If you always eat, at 2 o'clock, or you always have dinner at 7:30, your body prepares, brings the juices knowing it. Your body loves routine. outside of maybe, obviously having a routine with exercise, but mixing up the routine is important. Outside of that, with as far as sleep, having a routine. So for as adults, it's important to kind of create a routine. You might have, dinner, maybe you relax, maybe watch a little bit of TV, then you kind of sit back and then maybe you journal, do some journaling, maybe set some time to, do a little bit of gratitude list. And also mention even maybe doing a task list. So, to get that stress or worry off your mind of what you need to do the next day or the following days. And for the last 45 minutes to an hour, because you want no TV for that time, as I said in Act 1, is to maybe read. Take some time to read a good book and get yourself into a more relaxed, calm state. Real quick, even personally, probably the last, 3-4 months, my daughter always had a very, regular sleep routine, for example. And we're talking routines here. We would eat, she would, have a little bit of playtime, maybe TV time, and then it would be bath, reading. We had this whole routine for bath, relaxing, maybe a little bit more playtime, but it was reading and then bedtime. And when we had this routine, her sleep wasn't as bad of a struggle as it is, recently. Recently, I've kind of been lapsed on the routine and I've noticed, real struggle in her routine. And me putting this video together really reminded me that, I need to start that routine again with her. Anyways, I hope these helped and help you get through the night. Love to hear your comments. Comment below, like, comment, share. I really appreciate that. And we'll see you on the next video.